Assalamualaikum. My name is Hussein Ahmed Alfi. Today is week 1 and question 5 I am answering. And this is the array part. And first of all, then this is a what does this code do? This code actually prints the average value of the which values are given by the users. First of all, in this array part, this part tells us that there is 20 arrays, and this for loop is actually making giving 20 values, getting 20 values from user by scanner function. And this function is actually telling that in first array, when 0 0, that means it is less than or equal 19. Then to this part, when x is 0, then print a value, print a integer. So printing integer, then its increment plus 1, then again 1, x is 1, then get another value from user. That is, n% is doing the taking address from that value user. Then first of all, why this is actually happening, because x is less than or equal 19 because of for loop. In for loop we are using for loop because we are using for loop here. We want to run this thing 20 times. That means we want 20 values from user. For that reason, we are using for loop. And here 0 to 19 digit, if we say here is 0 to 19, there are 20 digits. So this is actually taking the digits from user. Now I have told this is taking actually the values from integer values from the user 20 times. And then memory allocation, this num see memory allocation defines is actually stack. And what happens when your int sum is 0, actually both are same. If we don't initialize, it actually won't matter, because but if we initialize, it won't look good. But we shouldn't initiate, we don't have to initialize here, both are same. Remember garbage collection actually telling us about heap is actually dynamic thing and very slow and lots of spaces there. In stack is actually static and clean and much more sorted. In garbage heap, things are like rubbish. Finding things from a rubbish is much harder. In stack, everything is stacked in bookshelf. We know this part, this part, this part. Everything is sorted. In every hour, in previous code, we have done the programming in stack part. And stack part is actually this. I have told you, and heap is garbage. I have told you this also. Then our next question is, will this value have a good value? Will this return a good average value? No, actually, because we we know that integer divided by integer is actually returns an integer. That means if I want to say 41 divided by 20, which will actually, let's take 41 divided by 20 is actually 1.95. So this thing will not happen. Now let's check here. We have to use typecasting, and again we are saying this for loop is actually getting values from user, and this for loop actually doing the sum of the doing sum plus num. That means sum in every time sum is plus by the value. That means every sum is uh, getting sum of the values from user. So let's first we'll make it top down, then we'll do the we'll fix the error there. Then now first of all we will need this part very much, and then let's do something much more clean. If the sum of values, sum of user given values, user given values, even given user given values. That means user given values equals percentage d as the both are summation. Then we will have sum. We can change this sum to integer float. Then we don't need to use integer, we will fix it later. And then this part. Now if we give a value, first of all it will give us the sum. Sum of the user given values is atom. Then where is the average part? Average, into average, new line, I will also give a new line. Sorry, values gives values 1 3. Let's check it. Where is the calculator? Sorry. Then 1 3 4 8 3 divided by 20. Actually 674.15. This 15 isn't here because we are using integer. If we use float, then this problem will be fixed. Now let's make it top down. Let's hurry things up. First of all, we will need this part, this for getting this for is actually getting values from user, so we need this for loop because we want values from user, and actually this for loop is actually returning values, so that means it will be in int type. So we will also need this for loop for and this print part in another void function. Control V. So this part actually we don't need it here. We'll be needing these things here in future case. And let's cut this part. This part is actually defining stack because these are things are sorted, and stakes like sorted things. Now we don't need this here, we need here for future. Now let's get values from integer, get values from user, get values from user, and another function will find print sum and average of number, over average of user values that is given by user values. So this is actually int type. Then this is int function, then we make this part, Control X, copy and paste, Control X, Control V, and here for loop I forgot to give second bracket, and star should be here. Then we will cut this and this thing actually returns a value because it is an int type, not a void type. So int return x, x. So return x, this thing does this thing. Then we'll have to use the function prototype. Control C, Control V. Then about now now print sum and average of values. And this is a void type because we are not getting any values from, we are not returning any values from here. So this for loop is for sum, and after that with the equation it gets the average. First of all, here is average, int average. Okay, sum for, we have used the for, yes, start it. Then we will need this part, x control B, and we also need this thing because here is a part num x. For that reason we have to need this thing, we need this part here. Now we are almost done making our codes bottom up to top down. Now let's make it here, let's take it, the we'll change the x to int, x to change, we will change this to value for nicer code. And we have to give function prototype. First of all we must keep the function prototype, then we will type value, then we will say int value. That means user will give a value, the values from here it will transfer to this variable, and this variable will be here situated, and this function will work there. Here is a semicolon, and the average, let's change every x which value, space, sorry, and then sum with sum plus 1, sum plus value, so our code is almost done. Let's so actually code is done. Let's say it's make sum, then makes sum, then print the sum, then make average, find average, 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 then find, then print average, average. This code is actually doing that, and this function is actually getting values from user. So we have talked about there is a problem here. We know that integer divided by integer gives us a integer, but here we want to precise value, so we need a float. First of all, the average will be a float type, and in this sum will be float, integer, because we are getting an integer, so integer sum is always integer, so we don't need that part. But to find the precise average we will use float. in this sector. This is called typecasting, and this name is explicit typecasting. And also are getting integer, and we are getting integers. So we are getting sum of, and for more precise, let's do this 5. Now let's run it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 and 20. The sum is 210. Let's check it in the calculator. 210 divided by 20 is actually 10.5. Here is our answer. It is much more precise than previous, because in previous we only get this part, not this part. So this is our code, and it is much nice. Sorry, I forgot to mention about this part. How many bytes is allocated here in int num0 20? Let's cut it. Let's see program tells. Let's see program decides that thing. C program will give us the answer. Now let's take this thing in num20. Print if the size in bytes, by bytes is percentage d. The size in bytes, we are bytes d, and new line give size of function, and say now only this part. Sorry for use semicolon here. So size of this thing is actually 80 bytes. So that's it. Thank you.